Hey everybody, we're here, Inner Circle. We're doing Godzilla vs. Kong, and I have very little to say about this movie. I'm gonna let Clayton start.
Big ape smash, lizard roar, robot attack.
I think before we get into it, what team were you on before you saw the movie? Were you Team Kong or were you Team Godzilla?
God,
Team Kong all the way.
I was Team Godzilla, like full force.
I couldn't decide. Like, on one hand you have Monkey, which is, you know, the whole meme aspect of King Kong. And King Kong is actually a really good monster in his own right. But on the other hand, Godzilla, which is so iconic, arguably more iconic internationally than King Kong. And, I mean, he's a radioactive dinosaur.
Let me interrupt and introduce. This is Chad, famous from linked video of Godzilla.
Yes, exactly. I think I'm a little biased here.
I decided to bring in Kaiju Nerd to talk to Kaiju Nerd while I pleasantly sit and remember my fond memories of Peter Jackson's King Kong.
What about your fond memories of the other Kaiju films like Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim sucks. But what doesn't suck is Godzilla vs. Kong, where I saw a big ape go to the Hollow Earth and get a battle axe and come back and stab a lizard.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, honestly, that was like not what I expected. But
with my 5-year-old ape brain, I was just like, yes, give me more of that. And that's why I didn't like this movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I just decided.
It's a great movie.
I didn't like this movie because half the time, and I know this is a tired critique, but half the time it was not being the title.
What do you mean?
Actually, 2/3 of the time it was not being the title.
You know what? I'm not bothered by it at all.
I hate
stuff was fine.
These goddamn stupid human characters that have no motivation, no development, and like every time they cut away from the monster fights, I'm completely disinterested.
Well, they had motivation. Millie Bobby Brown wanted to be in the movie. The people that went to the Hollow Earth, one guy had a dead brother they mentioned for like 3 whole seconds, and the evil corporate woman who Kong smashed as she screamed no, which was incredible. I loved it.
That was pretty great.
That was kind of satisfying, I'm not gonna lie.
You say that you don't like the human parts and that they don't focus on the monsters, but like compared to the rest of the Legendary Pictures Monsterverse, it was a huge improvement in my opinion. Maybe not necessarily from Kong Skull Island, but from the other 2 Godzilla movies, where the fights are constantly being interrupted by bullshit about like a family breaking up and shit. I thought it was a major improvement because like this one, they actually focused on the fights, and the fights had really good choreography.
I will say this, like the 40 minutes of this 2-hour movie that are Kong and Godzilla fighting are amazing.
But see, so almost half the movie you are seeing them literally punch each other in the face. I am like,
but I wanted that to be the whole movie.
I am 99% sure in one of those scenes I saw Kong legitimately square up and then throw a punch, and it really, you know.
Oh, dude, he did straight up like MMA moves.
Yeah,
like, no joke.
The fights were incredible.
It was awesome.
Like the point that we've gotten to in cinema with like the CGI technical aspect and like how fluid and real we can simulate lighting, it's kind of insane. One of the big issues I have with this movie is like how they kind of like disregard all of the development that happened in King of the Monsters, which I don't necessarily dislike, because King of the Monsters, I didn't like that movie either.
That was terrible. I actually thought the movie was awful.
Like, I liked that their narrative was a bit more focused on like the core family, but other than that, I thought it was just like a mess. And this movie is more honest, I guess, about being a mess, but it's still a mess nonetheless.
Yeah, I think that, like, compared to all the other ones, especially the 2014 Godzilla, that one really felt like it was trying to be set in our world, you know?
Yeah.
It was like, how would the actual U.S. military, like, deal with Godzilla.
I'm glad you bring that up because as somebody who skipped King of Monsters and Kong Skull Island and just showed up because the title said Godzilla versus Kong, I was very put off at first about the drastic tone and technological shifts between Godzilla 2014 and this movie.
I totally agree with you.
I am a huge fan of Godzilla 2014. I love that it's a
do enjoy that
small,
movie.
grounded story.
Even though Aaron Taylor Johnson is garbage in that.
Yeah, I
film.
didn't care for it.
I love. Okay, that's different. We're not gonna talk about how much Aaron Taylor Johnson's really good. But the shift from that to to Godzilla versus Kong, where we have spacecrafts that can fly into the hollow Earth, and they have halo energy shields.
They reverse
Yeah.
gravity.
Yeah, and gravity polarities are swapped.
There's a new
and,
energy source.
and we're building a
really
Mecha
harvest.
Godzilla that's like humanly
then-
impossible to build.
The most ridiculous thing, Godzilla firing his atomic breath to the center of the Earth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like all these things took me like I had a heavy adjustment to make, and accepting all of that is real in the same universe as that first movie.
I totally agree.
But because the movie seems to own its goofiness, it didn't bother me. I was kind of okay with it because by the time I was start to think like a Hollow Earth craft going into, oh no, Kong just grabbed some like small lizard creature in the Hollow Earth and bashed it into another one, and and I just didn't think about it. It really, the goofiness and the action just make up for all
Yeah.
this weird
I
tech
agree.
jumps it makes.
But the thing is, for me, there's so many attempts to still have that grounded in reality feeling
Mhm.
in the movie. Like, there's a shot where like they're watching CNN, and
Yeah.
that was really like that one. And there's a reference to like the Tide Pod challenge too. That one felt really like it just felt so off-putting with all this other like hyper technology.
It does
you know?
feel like the Millie Bobby Brown half of the human storyline is there so they can try and keep it grounded,
Mhm.
even though it's really unnecessary. And her whole plot line with her side characters, they don't accomplish anything that I
Yeah.
remember.
They really don't. I mean, they like end up stopping Mecha Godzilla at the end, but it's such a cheap. It's such a cheap way to do it.
Very-
They literally just
very
poured water
fast.
or I guess alcohol on a computer and
Yeah.
then shut the whole robot
At
down.
least they went out of their way to previously establish that that was like his dying wife's last gift to him.
Yeah,
But that was still kind of really contrived.
but that scene where he introduces the fact that his wife died or something was the worst scene in the entire movie in my opinion. That line where he
It
says,
was really awkward.
"You have a Sarah," was like the worst thing ever. I hated
That entire
Oh my
scene
God.
was so unnecessary and forced.
Yeah.
They paused the actual scene they were having and dialogue they were having so they could introduce the MacGuffin to kill the main baddie.
Yeah.
And then they put the MacGuffin up, and then it literally feels like it's an immediate tone shift right back to the quippy dialogue about conspiracies.
Mhm.
It's so out of place.
Yeah.
I just this movie's a journey. Yeah.
I will say though.
They're in the movie. No, you're good. They're in the movies purely to introduce Mechagodzilla.
Mhm.
That is it.
I will say that the quippy dialogue, while it's obvious that they're trying to do kind of like a Marvel thing, where it's like, oh, every character can have a little bit of humor to it, everything isn't too serious. I felt that was better than how they did it in the other movies.
I think the worst line of any movie I've seen recently was in this movie, and it was the Deadpool 2 kid goes, "It's Robo Godzilla," and then the old guy stops and goes, "No, that's Mecha Godzilla."
Yeah, it's the other way
No, it's
around.
actually reversed.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
The kid was the one who
It's
said.
Mechagodzilla.
I just remember
Oh my
it being
God.
terrible. I just
I was
remember
like,
it being terrible.
I feel really bad for that kid because he has that
Yeah.
stain on his career now.
Yeah, and he
It's
was
not that
easily
bad.
the worst character in the movie. He had no reason to be there. He was literally only there
And
for just dumb jokes.
I liked him in Deadpool too.
Yeah, I thought he was good. He
Yeah.
worked as a whiny brat.
But the overall, the human plot lines in this movie, I had no issue with. They were, okay, so the Millie Bobby Brown one, serviceable enough. The one about the Hollow Earth I really enjoyed, mostly because that was very Kong focused.
Yeah.
So it had a point.
I like
It felt
the
like it had a
connection with Kong.
point.
All of those
I-
characters' conversations can be summed up in one sentence.
Yeah, but then you're
The world needs Kong. You don't understand. The world needs Kong. It needs him.
No, it needs
We're
to
gonna
be
fly him in a net on a helicopter to get him away from Godzilla
to the Hollow Earth.
to Antarctica.
The point is that the human plot lines weren't so terrible to where I dreaded every time
Yeah.
they came up.
They were
I was
serviceable.
okay with them because every time at like the perfect moment where I felt like we need to cut away, it would, or it would give me a monster punching another monster's skull in.
Yeah.
So I was okay with them.
All the human plot lines at least had something to do with the monsters and the monsters fighting. Like, I know you didn't see the other ones, but the other ones, it was straight up, okay, here's the monster fight, and here's a dumb melodrama. This one, at least it was like, okay, we gotta get Kong here so that he can do a thing and fight Godzilla, you know? Or
So we have dumb fight and then dumb melodrama.
yeah, exactly. It's a little more
It
like
matches.
bearable.
It's
Okay.
more direct.
I want to jump straight to the most important thing though. So how do y'all feel about the big fight and the winner of the big fight?
All
The one at
right.
the very end?
Yes, we can spoil it. I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah, we've already spoiled Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, I've already.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've already.
We
yelled
should,
it,
we
so-
should just talk about all three fights, honestly, because like I feel like all of the fights in this movie were like actually amazing. Like they were like super well done.
My favorite one was the very first one
Yeah,
where
me too.
where they're jumping across aircraft carriers.
It was so
in
silly.
the water. I
It was
loved
so
it.
silly.
Like the first fight scene makes sense to me because like I mean Kong gets destroyed. He's in Godzilla's element. They're fighting on open water.
yeah,
So that was fun to see. And then, you know, Kong has this little side quest in Hollow Earth, and then they fight in a city where Kong can like leap on top of buildings
Yeah.
and utilize his surroundings, so it's more in Kong's element. That's when he gets the upper hand.
Mhm.
But then, you know, Godzilla gets smart, uses his atomic breath, and just destroys
yeah,
him.
exactly.
And he asserted dominance after he beat him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was
but
great.
that,
was a
that
great
shot of
character
them
moment.
like screaming at each other, like Godzilla came out the winner, but Kong didn't bow to him,
Mhm.
as they say in the trailer.
And I'll say that first fight scene when they're in the ocean, I thought was like insanely well choreographed. Like
Yes.
I every minute something new was happening, and the camera work during that scene was like actually crazy. The shot of like the pilot taking off and Kong is in the background and you can see him.
The first person shot of Kong looking at him, looking at the carriers, and literally going like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, like, okay, here,
and
here, and then
jumps.
doing it. That was great. The shot where Kong falls onto the ship, Godzilla is like above him, and then the camera does a full 360.
Yeah, with the ship.
That
Yeah.
made my head spin. To be honest
It
with you.
did. It was,
I
but it
loved
was
it.
cool though. And then it comes back, and then oh shit, now Kong's back, and he gets a punch on him. Like that was super cool. The shot where the boat flips over and it goes underwater, and then back above, and then back underwater again.
That's one thing. One fear I've had in the movie was like, don't hide the action, because the only
Yeah.
movie I saw was 2014 Godzilla, where
It's all raining
where
and
it
black.
doesn't care about the monster action. It's about the people. So
Yeah.
anytime like real action happens, you don't see it unless the characters are literally right under them while it's
Yeah.
happening. So I was very excited when in this movie, every time a fight started, it like started playing video game fighting music, and the camera pulls back, and just you watch monsters punch each other.
Yeah.
It made me really happy.
Yeah, I agree.
This movie was like the cinematic equivalent of a 5-year-old playing with his 2 favorite action figures.
It's literally just like.
But I enjoyed that aspect of
It's
it.
so cool. It was great. It triggered a perfect I love a good serious movie, but I also love just dumb action.
Just popcorn entertainment.
Yeah, it's totally popcorn.
I don't like
entertainment.
the phrase popcorn entertainment, but I'll agree like a dumb action movie is good sometimes,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
what this definitely is fun dumb
Like,
action.
I
Yeah.
didn't like it as a film, but overall I had a good time in the theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree.
Um,
There's definitely plenty of points.
It's
to, like,
it's
criticize.
definitely a theater experience. The sound,
Yeah.
the sound in this movie is incredible.
Oh, did you see it in the theater?
Yes, we watched it. We watched it
Yeah.
in the theater.
Oh, that's awesome.
There was-
We tried to go, but it was too crowded for my liking.
Yeah.
It was a smart choice at the end of the day, seeing it in the theater.
Yeah,
It seemed like it would have
the
been
surround
fun.
sound of things happening is so insane. Like there's moments where Kong literally goes to swing on a monster, whether it's Godzilla or like the others he fought in the Hollow Earth. he goes to swing on a monster, and if the shot is close up, you literally hear like the wind of his punch come from the back of the theater around to the front, and then contact.
That's awesome.
It's so incredible.
I remember that moment. That was
That
fun.
sounds sick, dude.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. Hopefully it's still in theaters by the time I get my vaccine.
Can't wait to see Mortal Kombat in theaters.
Is that in theaters too? I thought
Mortal
It's going to be in
Kombat.
theaters.
It's doing the
yeah.
same thing?
Yeah,
Like, damn.
HBO Max debut as
Cool.
well. Which be here for that episode. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and then the second fight scene when they're in Hong Kong, I also really enjoyed that one. Just because of like, I liked all the different neon lights. That was really fun. And then the choreograph, like we were saying, there's so much for Kong to work with. Like he's like fucking jumping off buildings and like just
Uses his axe.
He
Yeah.
Kratos threw his axe across the city. Like, just, if I'm just going to point out little moments, I love that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Godzilla's over there, he makes eye contact from, like, the entire city of Tokyo away, grabs his axe, and just full-on God of War. Just,
Yeah, that was
But
awesome.
they're utilizing their specific skills. You know, I mean, Kong's a big gorilla, so he's gonna behave like a gorilla, and then Godzilla's a big lizard, so he's gonna crawl on all fours. He's gonna bite and claw. Gonna use his tail. So those little subtle details I appreciate.
Yeah, I liked how they made Godzilla fight was really interesting as well.
Mhm.
Like I like how he had a bunch of different stuff he's using. He's not just like, it's not just only nuclear breath, you know,
Right.
because that's such an obvious cop out before the movie was coming out. Everybody was saying like, how could he beat Godzilla if he's just got a laser beam breath, you know?
Yeah.
But he's clawing, he's scratching, he's
doing
fighting.
everything.
Yeah, I thought it worked like super well, and that fight scene especially. I loved all the fucking POV shots of Kong.
How
That
do
was
we-
so much fun.
How do we feel about Mechagodzilla being in this movie?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Honestly, great surprise.
well, not how we've talked more about the actual fights than Mechagodzilla's fight at the end, kind of shows his importance.
Yeah.
The big fight with Mechagodzilla at the end, where it's like all three of them are like going at it, and they team up to rip Mechagodzilla apart. Like, it's fun, but it wasn't too important, and it wasn't my favorite
not
part
at
of the
all.
movie.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
It was fun to see on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they needed to have an excuse for Kong and Godzilla to make up at the end, and Mechagodzilla ended up being that. And
Yeah, and I think that was fairly predictable. Like I feel like a lot of people saw that coming.
Well, I liked
'cause-
it. They executed it better than another versus movie that came out.
Yeah, they did. They did. There was a better choice.
There was no like standoff. No one really won. We're gonna team up to take the bad guy down, like a certain Zack Snyder movie did. I love that we establish a clear winner, and then we're like, okay, and then you also get to see them team up and beat up
Yeah,
the big
because
robot.
that was a good thing that I really enjoyed
Yeah.
too. Is that Godzilla obviously won,
Mhm.
you know, and it wasn't just like, it wasn't a stalemate or something like
No
that.
one,
It
no
was
one
like-
said, no one said, please save Martha, don't kill him.
That was when they were screaming at each other. Godzilla's like, how do you know that name?
But it was fun, you know, to see Mechagodzilla again after all this time, and then like him and Godzilla square off, and
Yeah.
Godzilla gets his ass kicked, and I liked seeing that because
I like the design. The big arms
Yeah.
were kind of cool. I won't lie. Like it made sense, you know.
like I saw like a side view like concept painting of it, and from the side it has the same proportions as Godzilla. You know, he's a bit heftier of a model, but from the front he looks really spindly.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked how you can get a different picture of him at different angles.
I like-
Mechagodzilla, this movie was built. The man has been hitting the gym all these years.
Dude, for real. I mean, it's been like what, 7 years? 7 years since 2014. Like he's been hitting the gym. You know, he's ready. He's been waiting for this moment. But like the thing about Mechagodzilla, I do agree that I think that he should have been implemented in the story a little bit better because it totally just felt like a kind of cop out for a big final fight for them to team up. You know.
I'm glad that they didn't introduce him immediately. Like they kind of like built up to it.
Yeah,
But-
I'm glad he wasn't in the marketing material too.
Right. Yeah.
I'm glad that was like a good
That was smart.
surprise. You know, it was. Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought the Mechagodzilla looked really cool. I liked the design a whole lot. I liked how he was animated. Like he had like the rocket-propelled punches and stuff like that, and he had like the little missiles that came out of his shoulder.
He
and
looked
stuff.
very industrial and not
Yeah.
as like sleek as he's been in past iterations.
Yeah, not more just like a straight up like like a robot. And I also like that it was a mech, that it was a guy controlling it. That
Right.
was a really cool little detail that I kind of wish was expanded on a little bit more. But I mean, it's not that important in the end. He knew he was going to become evil. But I
And
thought it was implemented pretty well.
Weirdly, a very gory kill for one of these movies.
Oh,
Where
where
you
he
watch-
gets like his brain melted?
Yeah, the man's brain melts and you watch his eyes roll back in his head.
I was
and, like,
really hoping for like a cheesy like 80s head
Head
explosion.
explosion,
I
yeah.
was really hoping for
Like,
it. And I was
like in
"Ah, it's
Scanners,
PG-13."
like
yes, like
yeah.
a Scanners head explosion. That would be so cool. But you know, it's a
Oh,
PG-13. You know, big movie. That's not gonna happen.
Well, gentlemen, should we give it our ratings?
7.5, good action, big monkey.
Big monkey.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I'm not gonna go as far as like give it a 1 because I didn't like it. No, there are things in this movie that I did enjoy. I just wish that it was 2 hours of just Kong and Godzilla fighting each other, but it wasn't that. So, oh well.
I'd give it like I'd give it a 7. You know, compared to the other movies in the MonsterVerse, I think it's better than the 2 Godzilla movies. I don't think it's better than Kong Skull Island. You should really watch that if you like King Kong. That movie is amazing. But
Is it better than the original King Kong versus
No,
Godzilla?
it
yeah,
couldn't be.
I think so.
Oh wait, this movie, yes. I thought you
I
said
think so. Okay, well, this movie doesn't have a live action octopus. That was pretty cool.
The original is fun because it's
It's
cheesy.
stupid, yeah.
It's cheesy.
But like for what it is, for it being like, you know, them trying to set up this whole cinematic universe, I think it's pretty fun, and I really do hope that this is like a launching point for the rest of the franchise. I really hope this is not, you know, a low point or like a peak. I really hope that they continue with this style, dumb monster fights. I don't care about the people anymore. Or, well, I never did, but like I just want big CGI monster fights. You know, bring in the other Toho monsters. Like, if we can get like Destroya or Biolante or something, like that would be so cool.
No,
That'd be awesome.
but what is Aaron Taylor Johnson's bomb expert character doing?
Dude, he died in that fucking football field at the end of the movie. Like Godzilla just came in and fucking killed them all. That's why we don't.
If
Him and
you
Elizabeth
could
Olsen.
if you could have like any sequel to the MonsterVerse right now, what would it be?
So I really want them to do more with Mothra because I love Mothra, and I really do feel like she got the short end of the stick in King of the Monsters.
She did.
And they had like a post-credit scene in that movie where they found another Mothra egg. So it's definitely possible to do it. I want just a solely Mothra-focused movie, honestly. But eventually, I want to see them do like a huge like destroy all monsters thing, like
Ooh, that'd be
as
fun.
many monsters as they can, and I want it to be like as big as this one. You know, I want huge fight scenes. I want just pure nonsense. That's what I want.
That'd be cool.
That'll be awesome. Just a huge budget, huge CGI monster movie. Like that sounds like a ton of fun.
So everything you just said about huge budget and huge nonsense and action is what I'm hoping for in Mortal Kombat.
Next episode.
Hopefully.
Wait, no, that doesn't come out for like another 2 weeks. Never mind.
I think we called Mortal Kombat the next episode for like 4 weeks now. That's like just the thing.
We reviewed the original. We're gonna review the new one.
Well, now you can do Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
I'm not doing it now.
Wait, that's it. That's it. We're doing Annihilation.